everybody. Happy Mario Day. Did you know it's Mario Day?
I did not.
Yeah, March 10th, March and then 10, so like looks like Mario. Yeah, so it's Mario Day, much like Aliens Day, which is
March 10th. How does that?
Because it's an M, an A, an R. The 1 looks like an I, and then 0.
Like it,
yeah,
like Martin.
right.
All right.
Yeah, or it could be Martin Lawrence Day if you really want to get to it, or Martin Landau Day. So Martin.
Martin Landau Day.
Anyways, happy Mario Day.
Happy Martin Landau Day.
I'm Super Ty. This is Comic Book Brando, and we're going to talk about all the cool books that are coming out tomorrow, which is not Mario Day. It's March 11th. There's a lot of good stuff coming out, as well as more stuff than we have time to talk about. And if you have any questions, comments, anything that you want to bring up, just put it in the little comments section. We'll be more than happy to answer your questions, or just have a nice little visit, you know, as my parents call it. You know.
Let's wrestle.
Okay.
Do you remember that?
No.
So Martin Landau was like the wrestling coach in the hit movie Ready to Rumble.
Wow.
Like the old guy, and his whole thing was like, "Let's wrestle."
No, I did not know that.
Look it up or watch it.
He also played Albert Einstein in a movie called IQ. And of course he was Mr. Wilson.
I thought, no, that's not Martin Landau. That's
Oh no, that is totally not Martin Landau. That is
the grumpy old men.
Yeah, that's oh man, if you know the guy who played Einstein in the classic movie IQ, or also he was Mr. Wilson in the Dennis the Menace movie, what is his name? Martin.
Oh, that's killing me now.
Oh, okay. We'll remember it halfway in the middle of something and just scream it out really loud.
Please, Ryan Steens, you must be watching. You know.
So my first one is Jonathan Hickman's new Image book called Decorum. So this takes place hundreds of thousands of years in the future. We've colonized all these different planets, and there's all these different sectors of the known galaxy that are ruled by different people. And what it really focuses on is this lady right here, who is the biggest assassin in this entire arm of the Spiral Galaxy, and she has quite a thing for manners. There's also a courier that shows up that gets kind of mixed into the storyline in a very interesting way, and I can't wait to see what happens in this book. There's
Walter Matthau.
Walter Matthau. Wow, I was way off.
Well, you switch the names, and they sound sort of similar.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Taylor. I appreciate it.
And Anthony.
Yeah.
Anthony got it first.
Another cool thing is, you know, how Jonathan Hickman, how he always has his like extra information happening in every single page. He's really world building this with this one, so much so that at one point he even describes how to make this noodle soup in the future. So if you can find some synth eggs and firm algae, you can make this noodle soup. So very interesting. I liked it a whole lot. You know, he's been doing all this great work with X-Men stuff, but I like it when he, you know, creates his own worlds a little bit.
I can't believe we struggled so hard with Walter Matthau.
I know. I feel very dumb about it. Oh.
It's like as soon as you said he played Albert Einstein, I'm like, no, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
No. I knew who you were talking about. That blanked on his name.
Yeah.
Oh, what was the name of the dad on Happy Days? That's a tough one.
No idea.
I will not get there.
Okay.
X-Men number 8. So the New Mutants are back from outer space, like the old song, and they brought something with them. Unfortunately, that something is something that the Brood wants.
Uh-oh.
And if anyone knows anything about X-Men comics knows that the Brood are very, very, very bad news. Think of the movie Aliens, and, well, yeah, just think of that movie, because that's pretty much what they are. But yeah, they're horrible, sort of assimilating, just monsters that feed and destroy. Now they're coming to Krakoa, so that's not good. What are they going to do with this item? Who else is interested in it? We're going to see a lot of people show up that you don't necessarily expect to see.
Yeah.
So, yeah, big awesome stuff in the Hickman tradition. So we're starting off with a double Hickman 1-2 punch, and it's awesome. So, I mean, it's a good week for comics.
Yeah. My next one is a book that I've heard a lot of people talking about. It's called Stealth. This was originally a Robert Kirkman book, but Mike Costa and I don't know the artist name, but Nate Bellegarde. They bring this story, so it takes place in Detroit, and there's this vigilante called Stealth, who's actually this older gentleman, but he's starting to get dementia. He's not really remembering everything he needs to A, fight crime, or even deal with his family. So this is going to be kind of like Kirkman's book Destroyer, if you remember that Marvel Max series, where it's like about an older hero dealing with the consequences of getting older. You know, you never really hear about old heroes happening unless you count like 90s Justice Society. So very interesting. I really want to see where this is going because it leaves on quite a cliffhanger of like, wait, what? So yeah, very, very interested in this one.
You know a Batman comic I don't have in my Batman collection? The very recent Batman 89.
Yeah.
Which sold out faster than we could even keep up with. Because it was all of a sudden crazy hot because of the first appearance of 2 characters. And now we have that in the second print of Batman 89, which I can finally say that I've read. I can get caught up a little bit.
Yeah.
We got the first appearance of Punchline, and we got the first appearance of the designer.
Oh.
I was like, the planner? That's not a name. The designer. So big things happening in Batman comics. We're leading up to, I mean, we're currently in a storyline where assassins are targeting like the classic rogues. But we're also getting snippets of the Joker War storyline coming up. So that made this a big deal. No one got their hands on it. Now's your chance to finally get caught up and read.
My next one, with an awesome cover by Mike Del Mundo, is New Mutants. So, as Brandon was saying, the New Mutants are back on Earth, and they have a new mission of finding this girl that is in this small country, of course like a made-up Marvel country, that doesn't recognize Krakoa at all. And so they're kind of sneaking in, and then they get, you know, found out a little bit. But this interesting thing about this new mutant that shows up is she can basically create reality around her. Kind of like Proteus a little bit, but it's more of a limited field. But how do you get close to somebody who can basically make an alternate reality to cocoon themselves in? So very interesting, a lot of like really cool Cronenberg body horror happening in this. And if you know me, I really like David Cronenberg movies, so it was very interesting. This one is written by Ed Brisson, or Brisson. And yeah, I really dig it. This is probably one of my favorite books going on right now, this New Mutant stuff. It's really good.
I feel like I know you, but I don't, as well as I do know you, I don't look at you and think, now that's a David Cronenberg fan.
I just am.
Well, you just said, like, if you know me, it's like,
oh,
I
okay.
do.
Fun fact about me is I like David Cronenberg movies.
Did not know you were into body horror. The Immortal Hulk, number 32. So Zemnu is now in the employ of the Roxxon Corporation. Who's Zemnu? He's the original Hulk. And if you would believe him in the comic sort of context of it, he is the original Hulk.
Yeah.
However, he is basically messing with everyone's mind, making them think he's been a hero, think he's been a character, think he's been a thing, when he has not. The problem is, he's making everyone believe this. And everyone includes Dr. Bruce Banner.
Ooh.
So we're getting into some real mind territory with this one. Some pretty crazy stuff. Very dark, very cult of personality, and I'm loving it. Incredible Hulk is so good, and they take this bizarre one-off character. Actually, he had 2 stories from the 50s, and they've made him a compelling, terrifying, person-eating monster.
Yeah. My next one is Thor, number 4. So after last issue's crazy battle with Beta Ray Bill, Sif comes to the rescue of Bill because Thor's kind of losing his brain bananas a little bit out there.
His brain bananas?
Yeah. Well, it's from a Simpsons reference where this crazy gas starts spreading around and it causes people to hallucinate, and Chief Wiggum walks in on Lou and he's rolling around on the ground. He's like, Lou, what's going on? He goes, oh, the electric yellow has my brain bananas. So that's just something I've always said.
I appreciate the context.
Yeah. So anyways, Sif is going to stand up to Thor because, you know, Thor's starting to get this Odin complex where he's just like, Odin wouldn't stand for this and I won't either. And she just goes, you're not your dad. You know, like, you got to, you know, earn this. So very interesting, and also dealing with, you know, the Black Winter. It's now here, and Galactus and Thor kind of have a deal that, you know, they're allies right now, but once this Black Winter thing is taken care of, it's on. So I'm really excited about the story arc. I always love Galactus showing up anywhere, so yeah, very, very interesting stuff.
Snot Girl, number 15.
15.
Well, I was reading Rehearsal, so I said,
Oh, yeah.
Number 15. So this is Brian Lee O'Malley's series with artist Leslie Hung, and we've got a lot of personalities, LA personalities, some bloggers, and everything, and they're going to a wedding rehearsal. There's a lot of romantic tension. There's a lot of confusion, and there's even some very casual death and rebirth. Question mark.
Okay.
Very cool series. I wish it came out more often.
Yeah.
But apparently O'Malley's working on a graphic novel.
Okay.
And the artist has a new dog.
Oh, okay, there you go.
But really fun, really weird, very question marky kind of read. So if you like sort of celebrity culture, this is a very cool, bizarre read.
My next one is from Jerry Duggan and Phil Noto, Cable. So, if you've not been keeping up with this, Cable's now a kid. That's because of the events of this storyline called Extermination, where this Cable comes back in time and kills older Cable. Or does he? Or does he not? Basically, Cable is having the time of his life on Krakoa. He's flirting around with a lot of people. He's, you know, fighting in this, it's not, what's it called? It's called the Quarry, which is their new danger room kind of thing, where it's just like you fight another mutant and, you know, win or lose, that's it. But a little kid goes missing on Krakoa and decide to go look for him, and there's monsters. So, a lot of interesting storylines being picked up in this that are going to be starting, and yeah, kind of can't wait because the next one is going to be called The 5 in 1, which means the Stepford Cuckoos, so let's just see what happens with that.
Oh man.
Yeah, so
some of my favorite X-Men characters.
yeah, very interesting. Jerry Duggan's doing a really good job with this. Phil Noto's art is gorgeous. So yeah, take a chance on this one. I really enjoyed it, and I'm not even a big Cable guy, so I loved it.
You know who's a big Cable guy?
Jim Carrey.
Cable.
Ah.
Who?
Jim Carrey from The Cable Guy.
Oh, that's good. I was
Thank
like, what the hell does Jim Carrey have to do with the Cable Guy? Nice. Star Wars Bounty Hunters, number 1. This takes some of the coolest bounty hunter characters. Two we know from Empire. Of course, there's Boba Fett and Bossk, but maybe you don't know Valance from the original Marvel Star Wars comics, or they had just recently done a one-shot sort of like continuation of his story in a newer Marvel comic. But we're getting a little bit more of their sort of past, their shared history. Basically, a job went down, and it went down very poorly. Quite a while later, a bounty is up, and all of them get notice of it. And they're out to get someone who basically blew that job for them. A lot of interesting guest appearances in this issue, so if you're a Star Wars fan, you're gonna dig this completely. I went in kind of hesitantly, like, another Star Wars book, but I do love the Bounty Hunters, so I wanted to give it a shot, and it is awesome.
Is the guest star Cy Snoodles?
No Cy Snoodles, I'm sorry. No Salacious Crumb, and
Jackson.
Out. Not them.
You mean Bucky O'Hare?
But you get some very cool appearances from some newer and beloved, and even an odd one that is a classic character shows up briefly.
Nice. My next one is Batman's Grave number 6. So we're halfway through this series right now. It's continuing where it left off, where Batman and Jim Gordon are stuck in Arkham Asylum trying to get out because somebody just let everybody loose. So half this issue is a big fight scene, but the other half of it is there's now been a new murder that has very unexplained consequences, or unexplained info? What's the word I'm looking for? It's an unexplained murder that has no reason for how it could happen. That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh.
Yeah. So, which has kind of been the premise of this entire series, is like somebody's killing all these people and there's no way that they could do it. It's always a locked room mystery.
Unexplained motive?
Yes, thank you. So in this one, you also see actual detective work from Batman. You know, he's going through clues, he's talking it out with himself, seeing how things work, and that's what I love about this book, because a lot of time, you know, Batman's just running around on buildings, punching people. You don't ever get to see him be a detective and think things through. So that's why I like this Warren Ellis series. I think it's smart. It's very smartly written.
Nice.
Yeah.
Moonshine, number 17. When last we checked in with one of my favorite books, Lou Perlo was about to be part of a devil's bargain. It was his soul in exchange for a hand in marriage of the woman he loves. We've got zombies. We've got, of course, Lou Perlo's a werewolf. We've got mobsters, very 1920s style Tommy gun toting mobsters. Very cool story. Voodoo, magic, all sorts of crazy things happening, and unforgettable sequence in this issue. Yeah,
I saw it. Pretty crazy.
I love this book. Riso drawing Azzarello's words is absolutely my favorite combination in comics, and I can't recommend it enough if you like horror or gritty, like New Orleans style swamp terror.
Gangsters. My next one is Superman number 21. Only one man stands between Mongol and the United Planets. So, the two stories are happening in this. Of course, Superman's fighting Mongol, which is one of his, more, difficult adversaries to deal with. Because
a classic Superman.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. One of my favorite Superman stories was him, the gift, what's it called?
What do you get, the man who has
for the man who has everything. But also, there's this really weird video that kind of comes out where Superman's declaring that he's the king of the world, and you're kind of like, wait, what? And so people are asking Lois Lane on Earth, like, hey, is this real? Like, is he doing this? Lois is like, of course not. But if he's king of the world, then that means I'm queen of the world. Oh no, I need a lawyer. So some very interesting dynamics happening in here with like a little more subtle series and then an all-out brawl happening. So I enjoyed it. That was very nice.
Nice. Amazing Spider-Man number 41. What a great tete-a-tete on the cover.
Oh, yes.
Funny dialogue. I love Nick Spencer's run on Amazing Spider-Man. I've been enjoying it quite a bit. We've got a situation where Kingpin wants something from Boomerang. This is the issue where we finally find out what it is he has that Kingpin wants. Of course, we find it out in the subway, surrounded by a bunch of vermin clones, which is problematic, to say the least. Very cool stuff. I really dig this storyline. There's sort of a couple background stories also happening. There's a backup feature in this, which includes a villainous team we have not seen in a while. And who knows how that will reemerge. We shall see. But a lot of fun. Quippy Spider-Man at his best. I really dig it.
Well, that single issue is Green Lantern Season 2, Issue 2. So the last issue was just a blast. He teams up with some sentient salt, causing some trouble out there in the cosmos. But at the end of that issue, the Guardians of the Universe basically say, you need to go back to Earth. You gotta take care of some stuff over there. And Hal Jordan's like, no, there's like 3 Green Lanterns there already. Why do I need to go? So he's like having to go back home. And there's this really weird, without describing it and giving it away, there's this thing happening where people are becoming possessed by tentacle masks. It's not Starro. It's not Starro.
My first thought.
No, it's so I have to say it's not Starro, but very interesting stuff. I'm a huge fan of this run. I mean, Grant Morrison is probably my favorite comics writer, and Liam Sharp is just killing it in the artwork. It's weird though. It's very strange because, as you can tell by the cover, there's vulture people with like weird, creepy human heads. So it also kind of delves into Hal Jordan's romance life as of right now. So, like, if you read the first issue of the first season of this, you'll know what I'm talking about. So, very, very weird.
His romance life?
Well, everything about it, but yes, definitely his romance life.
Do you know what other issue was really hard to get recently?
I do.
Hell Arisen number 3, part of the Year of the Villain storyline, where we've got Apex Lex, we've got Joker, we've got the Batman Who Laughs. They all seem to be vying for a lot of the same role as like the head villain kind of situation. But this also had a very key appearance from Punchline,
Yep.
who, again, was sort of briefly featured in that Batman issue, has a lot more presence in this one. So we're going to see a little bit more of what her personality is. Still not a whole lot about her because we're going to see that coming up, but another glimpse. Very hot comics. So if you missed it the first time, we have it in a second print.
My first collection today is DC Superhero Girls Powerless. So, if you don't know what the series is, it's actually really fun. It's just like all the DC superheroines and supervillainesses like attending high school, and they're the Gotham City Hamsters. Or no, Metropolis High Hamsters, I'm sorry. But Power Grid goes down, as well as all the cloud technology in Gotham. So, you know, what are you going to do if there's absolutely no power to go? Well, you need a couple of little heroines to, you know, save the day. Make sure everybody stays in, you know, their law-abiding ways. This is a perfect series for kids. If you have young readers that, you know, if you have young readers that really want to get into comics and they just really don't know where to jump in, established characters, fun news stories, and age-appropriate.
We're going to have a visitor.
I know! Yeah, I'm super happy! Mike, I can't wait to see you. It's going to be great. I texted you last night, but you never got back to me. So, but I'm very glad that you're messaging me right now. So I'm very happy. Mike is one of my closest friends.
Definitely only comment in a public forum.
Yes. That's the best way to get a hold of me.
Marvel Snapshots #1, Submariner.
Yeah?
Submariner.
I always said Submariner growing up, and then somebody said Mariner. I was like, you're a doofus.
It is Submariner, but that should be Submariner.
Well, yeah, well, it's Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, so that's like Submariner, you know?
Yeah, that's why I'm saying it should be that, not Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner.
Right, isn't it like canon Submariner?
No.
What?
You just said you said it's Submariner.
Yeah, back when I was younger and didn't know any better.
I don't know.
Anyways.
I've now confused myself. I have no idea how I used to say it and how I say it now.
I think we just got ourselves.
I guess maybe it is Submariner because I used to say submarine.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right. We're on the same page.
Yeah.
The Submariner.
Cool.
I guess I never used Ancient Mariner as context.
Yeah.
Silly me. So this takes the tradition of the Marvels comic, which Kurt Busiek and Alex Ross in the 90s, early 90s. They basically take a look at the Marvel Universe through the eye of the common man. And although that was like a sort of a mini-series, later collected into a graphic novel, we have a series of one-shots that focus on different characters in that same tradition. In this particular case, I already forgot her name, but we take a look at the experiences, the post-war experiences of the Submariner through the eyes of Betty Jones.
Okay.
Is that her last name? I think that's her last name. Who is his lady love at the time. Although never really, not a commitment guy, the Namor.
Yeah.
So we've got her and her brothers post-war.
I was going to say a dirty joke.
Were you really?
Yeah, but I'm not.
Well, share it with me later.
I will.
We'll talk about it on our podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, World War II in this particular case, affected the boys who came back, and maybe the war didn't completely leave them. Well, it turns out Namor has some of that same thing going on.
Oh.
So we've got a nice big fat issue that tells about his experiences there and how he's not really great at dealing with them because he's Namor. But we got to see that from her point of view. And I'm pretty intrigued by this entire series. The next one's going to be Human Torch.
Right. Going to a class reunion.
Yeah, and I know, well, and then a lot of those characters also appear in this too, like the Golden Age heroes show up for
Oh, cool.
the mystery villain that you saw.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot more one-shots, a lot more characters from that sort of point of view, with different creative teams too. So
Yeah.
a very cool little experiment that Marvel's doing, and just gives you some interesting context for characters that you maybe don't know all that well.
Is that Jerry Ordway?
That is Jerry Ordway.
Oh, nice. Great. I do like his art styles.
Yes, yes.
Oh, the Wizard.
And he sort of nails Golden Age Namor, like
Oh, yeah.
in a way that
He
not
had-
everyone does.
He had a definite look. Then when I was growing up, I always got Namor and Hammerhead confused because he always has like the
Blockhead.
whoo, wah kind of thing.
The severe hairline.
Yes, very severe. But he has a pretty interesting widow's peak like I do, you know? My next one is another great book for kids, Rocket and Groot, Tall Tales. So this is a collection of the Rocket and Groot series that came out. I believe it's the first it's first 10 issues of that series, where Rocket and Groot are just gallivanting across space. It's very fun, it's silly, alien fights, you know,
Not
a lot of cameos.
Rocket's typical surliness.
Yeah. But yeah, I love this format. It's, $12 for 10 issues worth of stories. Personally, I think it's good for good for all ages. There's some parts in there,
I
but
wouldn't say all ages.
maybe like 10 and up.
Yeah, definitely.
10 and up for this. But yeah, it's
Despite the very cartoony cover, there's
I would say 10 and up for this. But yeah.
I wouldn't say bodiness, but Gwenpool's in it, so
Yeah, there's yeah. So I'm very happy about this. I really hope they do the Scotty Young story also, where it's Rocket being pursued by all of his ex-girlfriends trying to kill him. That one was really fun as well.
also not really all ages, but yeah,
But it was really fun.
a lot of fun. Heavy Metal, number 298. You think they're going to do something big for number 300?
Probably.
Probably. I really enjoy Heavy Metal. It's like an anthology, sci-fi, fantasy series for adults. We've got I think like a dozen stories in here that all have like the more European comics feel to them. Many of them, the creators actually being European. Others are, American. There's a Richard Corbin ongoing story in there, and he's like Heavy Metal classic. Very cool. All sort of spearheaded by Grant Morrison of Green Lantern fame, in case you didn't know.
Correct.
Very cool. I love that, this magazine came back, and it came back in full force. So check it out if you've never read it before. It's pretty wild. Gives you a little something different, and very cool.
So in that vein is Metal Hurlant,
Which inspired
heavy metal. So Metal Hurlant was around in the 70s, but then they did this early 2000s kind of relaunch of it with, American and European writers and artists doing stories in that vein. So let's see who's on here. We got Kurt Busiek, Richard Corbin, Tommy Lee Edwards, who's an amazing artist. He doesn't do too much right now, but he's awesome. Cully, our friend Cully Hamner.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, he's going to be in there. Jeff Johns, David Lloyd, Jerome Opeña, Ryan Sook. Like, there's talent in this book.
That's what they call a murderer's row of talent.
Yeah, so really crazy sci-fi story, more, very much for adults. Do not let, kids go through this one because you might have to explain some things later. But yeah, super solid. I'm very happy about that. I'm gonna grab me one, check it out,
Very cool.
Yeah.
Cully's is on 116. Well, yep.
Yep.
Not for all ages.
Not for all ages. Oh, that's pretty. But yeah, so if you're wanting to, see some creators that you've really enjoyed now, you can see some of their older stuff happening in here from almost 20 years ago.
Ooh,
Yeah,
cool.
it's awesome.
This is exciting. Dragon Hoops by Gene Yang. This is a new, gigantic graphic novel from our friend Gene Yang.
Yeah.
Friend of the store. Maybe he's even watching.
Hey, Gene.
We love his books. They're always like great, sort of slice of life, sort of different viewpoint. In this, he's basically admitting he's never thought much of sports, never really cared for it,
I know the feeling.
didn't really get it. But at the school he teaches, basketball's a big deal, like a real big deal. And they're having the season of their life, their career. And I didn't get a chance to look at a whole lot, but I love his style. I love his storytelling, and the promise is that things are going to happen that is not only going to change the lives of the players, but also Gene's life as well.
Yeah.
Just feel that. It's like
it feels like a basketball.
I love that texture. So beautiful. Very excited, and I think this will be very cool if you're a fan of sports, or even if you just don't quite get sports, but are you share that sort of viewpoint. This might be a way, like an entry point to kind of like see what it is that is the appeal to these young athletes.
Well, that's what we got for books, but let's talk about what's coming up. What do you got going on, Brandon?
Well, we posted the second episode of our podcast.
The Time Is Nigh.
With Brandon and Ty.
Yeah.
In that episode, we create our own 1990s heroes and villains.
Yep. I had a blast with it.
That was super fun. Ryan Steen said he could definitely picture any of those characters being actual 90s characters.
Yep. And it's on SoundCloud.
It is. SoundCloud.com/ The Time Is Nigh. And yeah, you can also reach us on Twitter, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. What else you got going on?
Well, on Friday, we'll be playing Magic at Outlaw Moon Games. I just priced a collection of Mask, which you and I watched the opening theme song for earlier.
Yeah, Mask Crusaders, if you, they're working overtime fighting crime.
So good.
Yeah.
Really good opening theme song. But the toys are great and a lot of fun. They were brought to us by our friend Dale.
Yeah.
And it's just a great collection of toys that are probably some of my favorites of all time. And then Saturday, we're playing game nights at Outlaw Moon. So we're playing different stuff. We're always trying out new games, playing old favorites. It's a blast. It's free. It's totally fun to do. And I've played more games in the past couple of years than I have in my entire life of playing games. So, yeah, I'm looking to try out some new stuff this Saturday.
Oh, cool, man. I have 2 shows coming up, maybe a third, since South by got canceled. A lot of bands aren't coming into town, so people are like, hey, can you play the show?
Some vacated slots.
Yeah, so on the 19th, next Thursday, I'm going to be playing at the Electric Church at 9:30 if you want to come out for that. And then on the 27th, which Mike will be here for, I'll be playing at Skull Mechanics Brewery with a really awesome band called Observer, which probably my favorite local band now. They're really awesome. Trying to get a third band for that, but don't worry about that. That's my problem. But that's pretty much all I got going on right now. I cleaned my garage yesterday. It was great.
That's exciting.
I found 8 cracked cymbals. I was just like, oh, cool.
What'd you do?
I put them in a corner because you can't do anything with them. They're just cracked. So
melt them down and create your own system.
Well, one of them isn't cracked too bad. I was thinking about painting it as a Captain America shield, and on Free Comic Book Day, so kids can take their pictures with a Captain America shield. I don't know. That's something I thought. Who knows?
Right on.
Yeah, that's my life so far.
Throw on the symbol.
Yeah, exactly. Do you got anything else on?
I think that's all I've got.
I did not pronounce that correctly at all.
Did I have what?
Anything else going on?
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, you can follow me at Super Ty Denton 1. You can follow you at
Comic Book Brando.
You can follow both of us at The Time Is Nigh BT. But you can follow the entire store at Austin Books. So, yeah.
We post at least intermittently.
Yeah, sometimes. Who knows?
We're so busy working, it's hard to be social.
Yeah, exactly. But thank you for watching, and yeah, we'll see you tomorrow or whenever you feel like coming in. Toodles.